Hello YouTube, it's Ian here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're going to be doing our monthly ramble video from my car because I've had a busy day today and I don't have time to record it in the usual way. So I'm just going to do this here in between classes and stuff like that, and then I'll upload it later today, probably like at 5 or 6 p.m. my time, which will be way later than is really recommended for my channel, but you know, it is what it is. So today we're going to be talking about My Hero Academia and how I feel it fell off and why I feel like that. Now, it's because I really didn't have a good topic to talk about this month that wasn't like, you know, inherently difficult to tackle or anything like that. And opinions on series are not really that difficult to tackle. It's more or less like, hey, this is how I feel and this is why. And I do want to kind of preface this by saying that I'm not coming at this from the perspective of a scorned fan or anything like that. I'm just like, I'm a big fan of the series. It holds a lot of special places in my heart for a lot of different reasons. But the reality of the situation is that around the time of the Shei Hasaikai arc, you know, the one with the quirk erasing drug, my love for the series kind of started to fluctuate a little bit because I didn't really like that arc all that much. I didn't really think that the villain, Overhaul or whatever his name is, was all that good. And then I liked some of the arcs afterwards, but the Meta Liberation Army arc didn't really, like, had a really awesome bit in it, but like the war was good, but the fallout of the war and the way that transitions immediately into this like harsh, like, final saga, it doesn't really work for me. And I think that, you know, I don't necessarily dislike it. I just don't think that it's really living up to the expectations that were set at the beginning of the story. And the problem is that it's been about 8 years since the series started serializing, and Horikoshi's tired, right? So he's really upset with the way his life has gone, you know, and the difficulties that come with serializing. And maybe he wasn't really ready for that, but at the same time, I think it's because he didn't really plan out his series that well, or at least that's kind of feels like to me. And, well, I hope for the best for Horikoshi, right? He has a lot of health issues lately, and he's had them for a while. So I really hope that he finishes the series soon so that he can, you know, rest and kind of move on with his life. But at the same time, you know, purely as a reader, I do think that it's kind of sad that the story is failing as it is, because, you know, I really wish it was better. So, what exactly are the issues here? Well, for me, the issues really are that it's set up as a high school series, you know, starts at year 1, should end at year 3. But the reality is that it's only been a year and a half in story. And even though that's not really that big of a deal, because, you know, technically speaking, like One Piece, even though it has 1,000 chapters, really is technically a series that has only lasted, you know, in universe, like 8 months of time, like, you know, excluding the 2-year time skip where like stuff happened, but it doesn't really matter to the story. The amount of time that it's taken Luffy from the beginning of his journey to where he is right now is about 8 months, right, or something like that. But like the scope of that, it feels so much larger. The fact is also that there really is no timekeeping method used in One Piece compared to My Hero Academia, where My Hero Academia literally tells you how long has passed because arcs are related to that length, right? So, you know, they always say 1A because they're the first years and they're the A class. And that has been basically the point for the whole story. It wasn't until recently that they started being, you know, second year students, I think. Maybe they never actually made it to second year. I don't know. But that kind of length of time, you know, 8 years to cover 1 year's worth of content is fine. But the problem is that in story, in 1 year, like, the world went from, you know, we're going to learn how to use our powers to, oh shit, we got to face the, like, world-ending demon that is, what's his name? All for One, right? So, to me, that's probably the biggest problem, is that the stuff doesn't feel spaced out enough, and the jump from Meta Liberation arc to the final war is very big, and it could have been like a proper time skip, like, hey, it's been a year Deku's been on the run for that long, and everyone else has kind of lived their life relatively normally as they can within the context of the story. And then technically it would be like the final story is finally happening in year 3. But that would still be kind of unsatisfying, right? So what I really would have liked would be for like the story to happen at the same kind of pace that it's been happening, but just making the amount of time change between the story arcs so that it would feel like there was a lot more growth. And the reality is also that it's just a problem with the escalation of the issues, right? Because somehow basically what's his name, All For One and Tomura Shigaraki basically, or well, specifically Tomura, went from kind of a loser, you know, having the same level as Deku and all of his classmates, to basically raising his level so high that he was basically better than Deku and his classmates, kind of unnecessarily or too quickly, right? And so that an inequivalent development, plus the fact that basically all the cards are stacked in the other direction, in the direction of the villains, makes it really hard to really enjoy the story, right? The one thing I do want to mention though is that, like, even though I don't love the story as much now, I think the artwork is like miles ahead of anything that was, you know, good at the time, when Horikoshi was really kind of in his pocket in terms of storytelling, right? So honestly, I think that broadly that is my problem, that the art style is significantly better than the story, which doesn't really happen that often in my opinion. And the fact that I knew that the story was great, or I felt that the story was great, and then I kind of like took a nosedive in terms of quality in order to kind of like speed it up, really makes me sad compared to the, you know, crazy upwards turn of the art. So yeah, I don't think I really made too much sense here, and I honestly maybe has said too many different conflicting things, but basically more or less that's how I feel about you know, My Hero Academia. Basically the issue is that the pacing of the story in universe makes sense initially, and then it kind of speeds up too much for my preference, because it has to match like the outworld, like the real world kind of pacing, where it's like, okay, it's been too long with these kids, we need to like actually have stakes now, and that kind of causes me some sort of dissonance between the story, and then the fact that the storytelling quality plummeted but the art style quality, you know, elevated itself so high, kind of makes this dissonance even worse in my opinion. And so basically my issue with My Hero Academia is that it's inconsistent with itself, I guess, is the best way to phrase it. So yeah, but it's not inconsistent in like a storytelling perspective, it's inconsistent in the way that it provides enjoyment, if that makes sense. So yeah, maybe that's very unclear, I'm not really sure. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that has felt that My Hero Academia has fallen off, but maybe I'm the only one that is really thinking about it this way, and because I'm not very good at articulating my thoughts in these ramble videos, that might make it difficult for other people to understand. So share your opinions down below, let me know what you thought, and thank you guys very much for watching. I will hopefully have the rest of the videos this week out in the normal format, so I hope you guys enjoy the video, and see you guys next week, or you know, whenever I do another video. So yeah, see you guys later.